Welcome everyone to the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc. It is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc acknowledges it is located on Treaty 21 territory. We are thankful to the generations of people who have taken care of this land, including the Chippewa-the-Thames First Nation, the Munsee-Delaware First Nation, and the United Nation of the Thames. Start with roll call. Councillor Wilsey is absent with notice. Motion to approve the agenda for this evening's meeting. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Palmer. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, item 9.2.1, the request by Caradoc Sands. It's an indirect pecuniary interest. Caradoc Sands are members of the Chamber of Commerce, for which I'm employed.
Thank you. We'll start with our presentations, delegations, and petitions. The first one is request for major drain improvement. Motion is as follows. Council accept the notice of request for major drain improvement for the Humphrey Drain 1998-9 and authorize Spreed Associates to prepare an engineer's report on the matter. Someone to bring the motion first. Councillor Kennis, second by the Deputy Mayor. Before we vote, are there any questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, there's a second motion. All in favor of that motion? Opposed, if any? That motion is carried. Next is the MNP, the 2024 Audit Service Plan. Motion to receive the information first. Councillor Brennan, second by Councillor Palmer. I don't know, we have some guests with us this evening. Director Dakin?
Yes, I'll allow them to introduce themselves. This is MNP, so this is our first go round with them as our auditors, and they want to come tonight and just present the audit service plan to you. So I'll turn it over to them. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks so much. Thank you for having us here this evening. We do have a presentation as well that I believe will be shared on screen.
You can get started and
Okay.
I can pull it up.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. So I'm Ashley Dodoni, the audit partner with MNP, and I have Julia Albertine with me here as well. We'll walk through our audit plan for you. So we'll get going here. So to start off, we have first a letter to cancel, just addressing that we have provided our plan for the year, and we'll walk through that accordingly. So I'll skip over the table of contents and just go to our topics for discussion. So this is something just to highlight that we do maintain our two-way communication throughout the year, and I've listed some items here to ensure that these are some things to think about when we are maintaining that two-way communication with those charged with governance. So operations, developments, business plans and strategies, management oversight process, any fraud that you become aware of, and just any other needs and expectations there as well. So we have those discussions with management throughout the year, but also want to put that out there to council that we would like to have that open two-way communication, so if anything comes to your knowledge that you're able to share that with us as well. Just in terms of key issues and developments, so there are two new reporting standards that would impact the audit that we're doing right now. That is related to revenue. So there's a section called Public Sector Standards 3400, and that relates to revenue and then also for group audits. So I'll go over those as well. So on the revenue side, there's more guidance with respect to this section, just looking at performance obligations. So we do anticipate that that could impact the user charges areas of revenue, and we'll work with management to just ensure we understand how that could impact and if there's any changes there to report as well. The other item just to highlight is the new standard around group audits. So this is called CAS 600. And in relation to the new standards there are some more robust requirements in communication with the group auditor and component auditors. So as we're going through and looking at the component auditors for the Lake Huron water supply, as well as the Strathroy-Caradoc Housing Corporation, there'll be some pieces that we do consider there as well with respect to the new standards that have come into place. So what this could look like for the upcoming audit is additional inquiries on the group structure and internal controls. The scope may change depending on how we've assessed the components and how the communication is with the component auditor as well, to ensure that there is that more direction, supervision, and review of the work as recorded in the standards. So if you want to advance there to the risk assessment slide, just a couple slides down. So we have assessed 2 significant risks for the audit, and this is a presumed risk of fraud within the organization. So management override of controls. Management is in the unique position to have access to the systems. So we do specific procedures around that to ensure that there's no modification there with respect to those controls. The other item that we have assessed as a significant risk is user charges, just related to revenue recognition to ensure that that is being recorded in accordance with the standards. So again, we have additional procedures that we would perform around the revenue recognition to ensure that nothing has come to light in that area as well. So the next area is key milestones that we wanted to go over. Perfect. So May 20th with you here today to present the audit service plan. We anticipate completing our year-end field work the weeks of June 2nd through 13th. And then towards the end of June, reviewing the draft statements and with management as well, and targeting the July 21st meeting to review the financial statements with council, presentation of our findings as well. Pass it over to Julia.
I'll be going over our audit process. So in our audit, we do identify significant risks, which Ashley mentioned is management override of controls and user charge revenues. And then based on these significant risks, we are going to tailor our audit approach and our procedures to ensure that we're getting appropriate audit evidence over these areas. Once we are completed the audit, we will present the financial statements and our audit findings to council, who will then approve the financial statements and all of the audit findings that we've noted. In Appendix A to our report, here you can see more details about key responsibilities between M&P and management. On the next slide there, we have audit materiality. Materiality is an important audit concept. Essentially, we determine a dollar threshold on what we deem appropriate as a significant amount for the audit. And then based on this, we tailor our audit procedures to make sure that we are not finding any significant deficiencies with this materiality. So there are a few different factors in assessing what appropriate materiality would be. So we have the size, the complexity of the municipality, as well as any changes in the organization, and then any concerns expressed by management. We go to the next slide there. We have determined our current year materiality to be 2.4 million, which we do think is appropriate given the size of the municipality and any changes in the organization in the year. This will essentially guide our audit procedures and how we determine our audit testing. On the next slide there, we have group audit. So Ashley kind of mentioned this is a bit of a newer standard in effect this year. So we've identified 2 components that are relevant under this group audit standard. We have Lake Huron Area Primary Water Supply System. So this actually has a different component auditor than M&P. This is audited by KPMG. So in order to obtain audit evidence over this component, we do plan to review the audit work that is performed by KPMG over this component. The second component that we've identified is the Strathroy-Caradoc Housing Corporation. M&P is involved in the audit for this corporation, so we are going to be relying on our own audit work that we are performing over this component to get comfort over this area. On the next slide there, we have our control reliance. So we are planning to place a low reliance on the controls in place at the municipality. So essentially this means that we will be mainly relying on substantive tests of details. However, that being said, we will still get an understanding of the control environment and all the processes in place at the municipality. And then if we do find any deficiencies over our review of the controls, we will communicate this with management and council, and then we will provide any recommendations to address these deficiencies. And then on our next slide, this is our audit team. So Ashley here with me today is the engagement partner. And then my name is Julia, and I will be working on the audit as well. And then we have Dino, who's a senior manager, and Nayla, who is the manager on the audit. And I'll pass it back to Ashley.
Just in terms of the next slide there with our fees and assumptions. So our fees are outlined as quoted, and that has been included in the engagement letter as well. That's been signed for the year. The next slide just touches on our auditor independence. So this is something that is paramount within our audit engagement. I can confirm to you our independence. At this point in time, we do a conflict check just to ensure there's no issues. Throughout the engagement, we'll want to ensure we're independent as well, and then we issue a formal letter at the conclusion of the engagement with respect to our independence. The next section here is just some insights that I wanted to leave you with here today. Some areas that we are seeing come up quite a bit within the public sector space, just around cybersecurity. So there's a link there that you can visit our online resources to find more information and some questions for management and those charged with governance to have around the cyber insights. Just on the next slide there. And then the last item I just wanted to highlight is around ESG. We are seeing this come into play in more and more organizations and expect it to have an impact in the public sector as well. So some recent developments that I wanted to leave you with, also Canadian-specific operations and some link to some resources that we have as well with respect to ESG. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Any questions from any members of council? Thank you. Look forward to work. So with that, council, there was a second motion that we receive information. All in favor of receiving that report of information? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. Approval of minutes. We have the regular council meeting minutes from May 5th, 2025. Motion to accept those minutes. Councillor Brennan, second by Councillor Canis. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Consent items, there are number in front of you, 6.1 to 6.3. Before we approve those items, did anyone wish to speak to anything specifically? Okay. Motion to receive the consent agenda items for information. Councillor Canis, second by the Deputy Mayor, all in favor? That motion carries. Next in front of you, other business, 8.1. There's a motion that council appoint Councillor Frank Canis, Caradoc Housing Corporation Board. Someone to bring them up. Deputy Mayor.
I think we have to put that motion on, so I'll motion that, and then I have something else.
Someone to second that motion. Councillor Pelkman. Deputy Mayor, floor is yours.
Thank you. I make a motion to defer this item to the second meeting of June of council. We have a special meeting on Tuesday in regards to Caradoc Housing, Strathroy-Caradoc Housing, and some of the information there will influence decisions such as this.
Someone to second his motion. Councillor Palmer. Any questions, comments? All in favor of that motion? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Reports from departments, financial services, the 2025 final property tax bylaw. The motion is as follows. Report be received for information of the 2025 tax rate bylaw be forwarded to the consideration of bylaws section for approval. I'm going to bring motion. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Canis. Wish to speak to it, Director Dakin.
Thank you, Chair, through you to the council. So this is just housekeeping, obviously. Every year we have to pass our final tax rate bylaw. So this is now enacting the 4.5% rate increase that was presented and approved by council on February the 3rd meeting. And as you can see, the assessment for the municipality has gone up just a little over the 1% like we thought. The other thing is we still don't have a date yet from the province on reinstituting the province-wide property assessment. So we're waiting on that, and that'll affect, obviously, decisions moving forward. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Director Dakin? Seeing none, there is a second motion in front of us. All in favor of that motion? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Building and planning. The first is request for noise exemption. We'll just wait until Councillor Palmer recuses himself. Okay. There are three motions. First is the council received the report for information. Second, the council approved the application for all Saturday events with the activity ending at 12:30 a.m. And further, the council approved the application for the Sunday event, amending the end time to 11 p.m. Someone to bring a motion. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Hippel. Cody, you wish to speak to this first?
Yes, thank you for having me. So an application has been received for the temporary noise permit stipulating 10 outdoor wedding events from June 21st until October 4th. These events will be running from 5 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. with 100 approximate people expected to attend the location. This is at Caradoc Sands Golf Course Outdoor Venue, 2500 Saxton Road. All events are to be held on the Saturdays except for the one on Sunday, September 14th. I'm just here for any questions any councillors may have. Thanks.
Are there any questions or comments? With Councillor Kennis and Councillor Brennan.
I think we all received some written concerns from some of the residents in the area about noise in the past, and I think we've all read here that the Caradoc Sands has done some work in trying to lower the amount of noise coming from their venue. I just wondered if staff is satisfied with that, or is it still sort of a wait and see how this works type of thing? And yeah, if there are issues that come up throughout the summer, is there anything that can be done about it if once we've passed this resolution?
Cody?
Through the chair to Councillor Helpman. Yes, I actually had a meeting with Caradoc Sands today regarding their new to be installed sound system. It's not in yet, but we are working with them to make sure that these complaints don't come forward again as they have in the past. So we're still working with Caradoc Sands currently. Complainants do know that. And yes, I think any changes to be made the following year is your decision if we run into issues this season.
Councillor Brennan.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to be clear, these are outdoor events, correct? And through, I guess, the chair to Cody, about how far away is the nearest house to the venue? Is it 120 meters?
Through the chair to Councillor Brennan there. It's 120 meters. There's 4 dwellings that are located.
Okay, and I guess through the chair, is there any way that we can measure objectively the sound level that is occurring in at the houses, you know, say you know, in the backyard of a house that's nearby, so that we can like you know, get a number, because it's so subjective, and I'm just wondering if there's a decibel level that's considered reasonable, and decibel levels that are considered unreasonable. Because if I lived, you know, 120 meters away from a place that was going to have 10 outdoor events, and they said that, you know, there's been complaints and we're doing something about it, but, you know, everybody has opinions, and I'm just wondering, do we have a way of measuring the decibel range in the backyards of these houses, and is there a if you will, a standard that we can refer to just to consider whether or not, you know, the sound curtain is actually doing what it should do? I know that's a lot, but
That's okay. Through the chair, yes, there is a standard. I'm not sure off the top of my head what that standard would be. With that being said, to read the decibels, we don't have a bylaw that would stipulate that currently in place. So we'd have to maybe move forward and think about adopting a new amended noise bylaw before going through that process and going through those measurement tools with Strathroy Police as well as bylaw enforcement.
Okay, just to follow up then, because I know time is getting short in terms of the wedding season being June 21st, but I sincerely hope that the sound curtain works to the satisfaction of the neighbors. But if we get into a situation where it doesn't, and we're probably going to have to, you know, work with the golf club to see if, you know, some other adjustments could be made. But I would suggest that maybe we should take a look at, you know, what other municipalities have done with decibel levels, and if there's something that's measurable, that's objective, then maybe we can use that in the future to help in these situations. That's my only comment. Thank you.
Any other comments? Deputy Mayor McGuire.
Thank you. Did I motion this?
I had brought a motion.
I did, okay. Can I
Yeah.
make an amendment to my own motion? Or is somebody else?
As long, I would think so, as long as Sandy's the seconder, so as long as she agrees with
Well,
that.
what, I have two thoughts on this, so I'll just tell you. The first, there's two clauses here, sorry, there's three. That we received the report, I have no problems with that. The second one, in regards to Saturday at 12:30 a.m., that's fine. The third one on Sunday at 11 p.m. I think is too late for a Sunday. So I would move to amend that to 10 o'clock p.m. on Sundays. And then furthermore, that this matter be returned to council for review and reconsideration on the 21st of July. So that would mean that there would be two dates. That's the end of my motion. But my reasoning is that there'd be two dates about 2 weeks in advance, like one about a month in advance, one about 2 weeks in advance, that they could see how those flow. There would be the third one on the 19th of July, which may or may not be too close to our meeting for us to really address, but I think council should stay seized with this matter to see how it's moving throughout the summer. So just to take another look at it on the 21st for review and reconsideration if it needs to be.
Did Councillor Hippel agree to the friendly amendment?
Maybe. I actually did want to comment, so can I make my comment before?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure yet. My only concern with this, I mean, Caradoc Sands, their outdoor venue is spectacular, and we're so lucky that we have this, and it is so well used for people in our own community and within the surrounding areas. But 10, so there's 10 dates, and if you look at every Saturday in the summer, we're sitting outside with families and friends and kids and what have you. I mean, your windows will need to be closed. You won't be able to sit outside. And up to like till 12:30, it's quite late. Personally, I mean, we all have been to lots of weddings, and 12:30 probably seems very early for most of us until we get to a certain age, and then it's really late. But at the same time, it's the noise. I worry about the 12:30. I honestly was looking at this and I was going to suggest 12, and I didn't like the 11 o'clock on a Sunday as well. So I'm not sure. Like, I understand where you're going with this, Deputy Mayor. And I don't know, is that something that will help? Do you think that by letting it go for 3 days, what are we going to do? Change the times? Is this what you're thinking, of changing the times?
May I?
Sure, yeah, and then, yeah.
I'll just respond. Yes. So review it. So I'm thinking they'll have two events that would end like 2 weeks out, right? So council, if there's complaints coming in from the citizens, bylaw will have an opportunity to take a look at that, prepare a report. There would be the other event on the 19th, which probably wouldn't really figure in unless it was just to say the same type of things came up on it on the Monday that we're meeting for council. But I'd like to see what those first two events look like, how the public accepts them, and then it's back in front of us for review and reconsideration if it needs to be. So they're really getting 3 events to start with, and then it's going to be reconsidered. Other than Sunday, of course, is right down to 11 o'clock. But I think there's only one Sunday in the whole season. Or 10 o'clock, sorry, pardon me, from 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Sorry, go ahead, Councilor Derbyshire.
Thank you. Through you to bylaw. Is it the noise of the music or the people that they're phoning about? Like, is it the actual music being played, or is it the number of people standing out there creating the noise? Where I'm going with this is maybe they could do a test run on whatever, if it's just the music, to see if the curtain does work, and maybe that will help. But if it's the people that are generating the noise, then that's not probably gonna help, but.
Through you to Derbyshire, Councillor Derbyshire. What the complainants have stipulated is it's after 11 o'clock, you're getting that bass sound. So again, we hope this changes with the newly installed sound system. Not so much the voices, and it's already set up with bylaw enforcement and Caradoc stands to have testing done in the complainants' backyards to make sure that maybe they're happy before this event starts on June 21st.
Just comment. Yeah, just to make mine real quick, Councilor Turner. I heard the complaints, just for Cody. I believe both yourself and police have attended at various nights and heard the sound from coming from Twin Elms, correct? I know definitely the police have attended and heard how loud it is for the residents.
Correct. I can't speak to that. That'd have to come from Strathroy Police Services. But I did note that they attended, or they had 15 calls from citizens over the past couple of years.
And I did meet with a number of the citizens, both in person and via email, and there is great consternation and concern about the noise, and they have to close their windows even earlier in the night because of the noise. It just literally filters to their backyard. So I'm in support of the deputy mayors. It's a compromise. It allows the venue to prove that it can work and to go back to them for some adjustment. Sorry, Councilor Richard, did you have your mics on? Did you?
Oh, no, I was just gonna go through, I just was going to ask if any of this testing would be done before, say, our May, or our June 16th meeting. Like any of this pre-testing, whether we would have any conclusive stuff before that, which would then give us a chance to maybe say yay or nay, or just say we're gonna try one venue and see, you know, maybe this gets deferred until you have results.
Through the Mayor to Councillor Derbyshire. So I'm not sure where Caradoc stands is at currently. I know it's not installed as of our meeting today. They're actively working on it. So I can follow up and report back if you'd like on maybe a specific date that they're gonna have that newly sound system installed.
Councilor Polkman, did you?
Yeah, just trying to wrap my head around how this is actually gonna work, because you know, as a business or as people running the events, there are contracts being signed outside of what's, you know, if you're signing a contract with a DJ, that's outside of what's being done between the municipality and Caradoc Sounds. So my question is, if you are doing some testing, are you using decibel levels? Is that what the test is, or?
Currently, we don't have any regulated testing decibel readers. You can use your cell phone. There's apps that you can kind of download and kind of not have a specific decibel reading, but something that's generally close. And that could be an option.
I'm just trying to think about how, if it comes back to council, what are we actually basing our decision on in terms of altering or not altering?
Okay. Sorry, I just see Director Lewis.
I just need to, Cody's unaware, but Human Resources does have access to a decibel meter. We do need to get it calibrated, but we should be able to use that device, so which would be more accurate than what we'd find on an app on our phone.
Okay. Deputy Mayor, then we'll bring it to a vote.
Yeah, thank you. So So I've made a request for an amendment. I don't know that that moved very far at this point in
It
time.
was seconded, we're having a discussion and we'll have.
So it is on the floor.
It's on the floor.
I was gonna say, at that meeting, and it's not part of the motion, but can we see the bylaw so we actually know what it is we're talking about? So I just wanna see the noise bylaw, because there's wording, I know there's wording in the noise bylaw, which would answer a lot of the questions that some of the members are asking as to what does the bylaw say about noise? Because we're asked to put in an exemption to a noise bylaw. Do you know what the noise bylaw says? I do, because I used to enforce it, but I'm not gonna, that's not my job here. I would just like to see the bylaw in front of us, so now we do have the wording, because then if you have a decibel level, you can compare, and anybody can go on and say, a jet engine is so many decibels, or this is so many decibels, and then we actually have something to have a conversation about. After we have a couple, so.
Okay, so we have a second motion in front of you. Does anybody need it read back?
So this,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Deb.
maybe
Yeah,
we should,
I
sure.
think so,
Yep.
actually,
So it was that council received report for information, that council approved the application for all Saturday events with the activity ending at 12:30 a.m. and further that council approved the application for the Sunday event amending the end time to 10 p.m. and that this matter be returned to council for review and consideration on July 21st.
Okay. Councilor Derbyshire.
Did that say we're approving all Saturday events? If that's,
I think approving with the caveat, correct? I think that was the intent. Right?
yeah, I just,
Yeah.
just look,
Yeah, so my intent would be to approve the 3. Now, if there's a wording, and I understand where you're going with this, if the wording of the second needs to be changed to say that we've approved those 3 specific ones, the Saturday, June 21st, the Saturday, July 5th, and the Saturday, July 19th, if that makes it clearer, then I don't know if I can do another amendment,
No,
but
that's fine.
that's the
Clarity.
intent of what I have said.
Okay, so, but you need second, or you now amending your amendment, correct? So,
It would be clearer.
Councilor Hippel. You second the original motion, then the amendment.
yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I still think 12:30 is too late, and I honestly think 12 would be better, so I'm struggling with this, I'm not sure.
Okay. Councilor Peltman.
So again, I'm trying to strike a balance here because we have a business that's signing contracts. They may lose business if we don't approve all of them.
Exactly.
Like if we're saying we're potentially, we don't know what's happening to the other 7 after the first 3. I think we need something a little more definitive that maybe we're just altering the time and not approving the event. So I would actually prefer the first wording where we are approving all 10 so the business can move forward and with their business, because it's, wedding business is a cutthroat business. So, but that we're balancing the concerns of the residents with the noise and the time, noise levels and the time, not necessarily the event.
Deputy Mayor.
Okay, so I'll do one more small amendment. Then on the final, where and furthermore, the 4th section I put in there of for review and reconsideration of end time.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, that works. Okay, one more, then we're ready to vote. Councilor Kennis.
Not to stir up the pot some more, but I think I think we need to have some teeth after, if we get a report back saying that it's too loud, because if we're just approving everything now, we may as well say, well, let's talk about this at the end of the season and see how it went. I think if we're asking it to come back, we have to have a bit of teeth to say, it's got to be acceptable, or the other 7 events are gonna be altered or canceled or whatever, right? So.
I would agree with Councillor Kennis, because again, if this is, I mean, Cody is going to be there, he's working with them, he's going to, you know, talk to the residents, and I mean, hopefully this new sound system and everything works great the way it's supposed to, and then it works out for everyone. But if not, if it comes back and we've had complaints that you've had to go out, or Strathroy police have had to go out, then yeah, I think when it comes back to us that we have to change the time or something. I mean, we really have to do something for the residents. If we're not helping them, we need to show them that we're thinking of them as well as Caradoc Sands.
Yeah, go to Councillor Brennan.
I agree with Councillor Hippel. I think our leverage is, if after the first 3, if there's an unsatisfactory evaluation by the neighbors, by bylaw, if you will, the police, then our leverage is to let the business know that we'll be looking at adjusting the times to make them earlier if there's not a satisfactory mitigation in noise. And just to say that out in public right now, I mean, that would be the lever. Yes. I don't know what that time would be, but we would probably have earlier times if there was no mitigation in the complaints and the noise.
Okay. All right. I'm fair to that. I mean, I think it's set that we'll be looking at the times. Do you have a second amended motion in front of you? All in favor of the motions as they were read? Sorry, Councillor.
It just doesn't make sense. So even if they're over the level, we're gonna say, okay, you can go till 11:30 at that loudness. Basically what you're saying, what the motion should be is, we're going to do 3 as a trial run. If you pass, there's no complaints and this and that, then everything continues on. If not, it goes back to whatever the date is or whatever the time is in the bylaw. Like, we can't say, well, we'll let you go a half an hour over the bylaw.
Yeah.
But with respect, that's what we'll be discussing at the next meeting, what the times are. And it could go right to the bylaw or maybe something different, but we'd be looking at the times. So that's what we'll do. If the teeth is, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, we'll come back and we'll discuss the times, and then the council will make a decision on what the times are. I don't know what council's decision would be then, but it would be a change in the times potentially. And that could be the original bylaw times, or council might choose to do something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just sounds like you're creating more chaos in doing that. If they're over the decibel level, are you gonna say, okay, you can go another half an hour over the decibel level, but you can't go an hour? Like, to me, it sounds like we don't.
Okay, fair enough. All in favor of the motion in front of you? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. Thanks, Cody.
Thank you, everyone.
Community service, the Woods Edge Playground update. Motion is that council receive the report. Council approve Park and Water Limited to supply and install playground equipment and associated accessories at Woods Edge Park and Mount Bridges for a value of $963,000.51, including HST. And the council approved the transfer of $19,411 and $69 from the Park Reserve Fund to this capital project to cover the slight overage, including a 5% contingency. Someone to bring a motion. Councillor Kennis, second by the Deputy Mayor. Eric.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So yes, this is the Woods Edge Playground. Looking for approval to have Park and Water install this playground and associated equipment at Woods Edge for a value of $209, $963.51. This project came in slightly over budget, which is why we're asking for the additional $8,963.51. And I'm here for any questions.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motions in front of you? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you, Mayor. Deputy Mayor, the County Council report.
Only thing I'll note is we're moving ahead with the process of getting a CAO hired. And it looks to be about a 90-day process to get to a selection point, so it'll happen relatively quick.
Thank Announcements and inquiries, Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. I have two. The first one actually is for Director Ortiz, and I wondered if he could talk to, I believe you call it the top coat or the finishing. I'm not very good with road words, but anyways, the top coat on Saxton from Carroll to Caradoc Sands. I've had a lot of complaints, people thinking that they're driving with flat tires and such, but it is, and you can actually see the surface. It is very, very bumpy. So I thought I'd ask and see if you could comment on that, please.
Director Ortiz.
Thanks. Through the chairs of Councillor Hippel, I'll have to get back to you on that. We cannot have our staff look at and inspect and see what the issue may be, but I'll have to look into that.
Okay, thank you. And then my second one is for Director Lilborn. Just wondering if we have assumed, and I probably should know this, so I apologize now, but I'm going to ask anyways, the parkland at South Grove Meadows or Collins Way, and how that is going. Thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Hippel, we have not assumed it as of yet. Last conversation that I had in building and planning was we're expecting it this year. So, but I don't have a date.
That's it.
Councillor Cass.
Just an observation of the night market this past weekend. It looked to be a great success with a lot of people there, and I think we're all looking forward to the markets throughout the mornings, Saturday mornings, the rest of the year, and I think all of us will be there at one point or other to greet the members of our community.
Councillor Brand.
Just that the trails look good, and I notice there's an awful lot of grass getting cut, so the grounds are looking great. I see lots of people out walking, enjoying it, so that's all I have.
Councillor Peltman.
Nothing for tonight.
Councillor Derbyshire.
I don't have anything either.
Councillor Palmer.
I have just an observation too that a lot of the kids are out on their bikes and scooters, I notice in the morning when I'm walking. So just, it's that time of year. So let's keep the kiddos in mind and other people riding their bicycles too. Just have a little extra eyes, a little more caution as they're zipping their way through town.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, just a shout out to our newest director, Heather. Teeny tiny Strathroy-Caradoc Summit is coming up on June 19th, which is for municipal leaders and staff to come together and well, have a summit. So that's happening down in Mount Bridges. Once again, a great use for Caradoc Community Center, but very progressive for us to be undertaking this type of an event. So thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you, and I just echo all the sentiments regarding the night market. It was well done and fantastic turnout. So again, Director Lilborn, please pass along our thanks to your staff. Next meeting is the council workshop on Monday, May 26th at 4 p.m. Council will move into closed session at 6:44 p.m. Discuss the following. One item in accordance with council's procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meeting minutes of May 5th, 2025. And one item pursuant to section 239, 2B of the Municipal Act regarding personal about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And one item pursuant to section 239, 2F of the Municipal Act regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, a labor relations update, motion to go into closed session. Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Hippel. Notice we will take a quick 10-minute recess. The motion carries. We'll reconvene at 6:50. Session adjourned at 7:52 p.m. and open session resumed. Council met in closed session and considers matters it is permitted to do so under the Municipal Act and is listed on tonight's council agenda. The following items session. One item in accordance with council's procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meeting minutes of May 5th, 2025. The meeting minutes were approved. One item pursuant to section 239 2B of the Municipal Act regarding personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal, and the section 239 2F of the Municipal Act regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Labor relations update. Council received a verbal update from legal counsel. Direction was given to legal counsel. Motion that the direction in closed session be approved. Councilor Kenneth, all in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Bear with me while I get to the spot. Now to the consideration of bylaws, correct?
Yep.
There are 5 bylaws in front of us this evening. Motion that the bylaw number 58-25, bylaw number 64-25, bylaw number 65-25, bylaw number 66-25, and bylaw number 67-25 receive first, second, third, and final reading. Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Pelkman. All in favor? That motion carries. Motion that we adjourn at 7:54 p.m. Councilor Brennan, second by Councilor Kenneth. All in favor? Carried. There we go.